From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie B.
This is Ticats Today for a Tuesday, September the 28th, 2021. Thanks for checking us out. It's your digital host, Louie B, on the Ticats Audio Network. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode of this show or any of the other great offerings we have for you on the Ticats Audio Network, including a brand new episode of the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker. That dropped today, so keep your eyes out for that one. We got a good show for you on this edition of Ticats Today, just like every other, but lots to come up here in just a few moments. We'll catch up real quickly with Senior Director of Player Personnel and Co-Manager of Football Operations, Shawn Burke. We'll talk to just get his thoughts on where the team's at the halfway point of the season, and we'll get an update on a player coming off the 6-game injured list. Yes, that's right. As reported this morning, Bralon Addison has been removed from the 6-game injured list. He is now on the active roster for the Ticats. That came in a handful of moves announced today. As mentioned, Bralon Addison now on the active roster. Kicker Michael Domagala goes from the active roster to the practice roster. Linebacker Corey Thompson has been activated to the practice roster from the suspended list. Jake Burt, Ticats' first overall pick in the 2021 CFL draft, he has been placed on the 6-game injured list. And Justin Thomas, defensive tackle, has been released from the practice roster. So a flurry of transactions made by the Ticats ahead of their first practice since their win on Wednesday night. Of course, the Ticats are getting set for their next game, which is Saturday, October the 2nd, right here at Tim Hortons Field. But the big news of the day, Bralon Addison is back. We'll hear from him in just a little bit. We're also going to be joined by CFL.ca's Matt Cauz. So lots to get to, but let's start as we normally do. Here is the head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, Orlando Steinauer, on the return of Bralon Addison.
Yeah, it was good to see Bralon back out there besides running on the sideline and doing, routes there. So it was good to get him reintegrated back in the mix. We'll see. He looked good, and that's a general statement, but specifically, I just mean you didn't really, you didn't have a lot of mental bust, which is important. And obviously he won't be, full strength for a few weeks, but it's good to have him back out there. He's a great teammate and a great person. Yeah, he's looking good. We split reps again. For those who were at practice would know that. And again, the biggest thing with Jeremiah is once we work him is to see how he comes in the next day and how he's feeling. Obviously, he will dress again, and then we will make a final decision based off of hopefully by about maybe as soon as day 2, but for sure on day 3, because by then we got to be honed in. So again, it's not a lot has changed. It's really upon how his body responds to more throwing. I felt like there was good energy out there. I felt like guys were wanting to get back on the field and practice, but they were definitely appreciative of having a few days to get their legs and their bumps and bruises tended to. So, so we'll see. You can go ahead and look at the tape after practice and get a better evaluation, but like the energy, like the execution, from the ground level there initially, but we'll see.
That is the head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, Orlando Steinauer, as he spoke after practice today. So just a couple of things that he mentioned there. Of course, Bralon Addison is back on the active roster. So will we see him on Saturday? It's too early to tell, but obviously an encouraging sign to see him back out there. Also, Jeremiah Masoli splitting reps with David Watford. So we could see the return of Masoli as well. So something to keep our eye on. We'll get the official injury report today at 5 o'clock, so we'll run that down on tomorrow's show. But I don't know if it can be understated just how good of a season Bralon Addison had in 2019. So in case you need a reminder, he had 95 catches for 1,236 yards and 7 touchdowns. So having him back, of course, would be huge. Having Jeremiah Masoli back could be even huger, more huge. But if you want to hear from Masoli, he spoke after practice. Just go to ticats.ca. That's where you can catch the full scrums. As mentioned, you got Masoli. We got Coach O. His full comments are up at ticats.ca. You'll also be able to hear the full comments of this man, Bralon Addison. Had a chance to catch up with him after practice. Here's just a snippet of what he had to say following his first practice since coming off the 6-game injured list.
It was great, man. Like I told the guys, man, I was just happy and honored to be out there. It's been a while for me, so just happy to be out there and participate with the team and be able to practice with the guys. I think they've done a great job, to be honest. I think the coaches had a tough job as far as, deciphering who's going to be up, who's going to be down, because those guys have done such a great job. Steven, Tim, Poppy, all those guys first year in the offense, and they've been making plays these first 7 weeks. So I think it's a good problem to have. I mean, I said it last year. I thought we had the deepest receiver core in the league, and then, this offseason, I feel like we got even deeper. So like I said, I'm just happy that, I get to compete with those guys every day. And I feel like we make each other better. I think regardless of who's up or who's down, I think we got a lot of guys in this room that can make plays. It was a weird one. Kind of came into camp, working out all off season. I feel like I kind of hurt myself in the off season, but didn't really know what it was. And then came into camp and just got a little MRI, and they found like I had a little injury in my leg, and we got it cleaned up. And about 6 weeks of rehab, and the rehab and everything went well. The training staff, the strength coach, Ike, Claire, all her staff, they all did a great job, man. So like I said, I'm just happy to be able to practice, and happy to be back out there. It's been a little mixed feelings because obviously, like I said, I've been wanting to be out there, and I'm a competitor, so I've been wanting to be out there and help the team and compete with the guys. But I've also been, proud of the guys. Like I said, the guys that have stepped in, first year being in this league, first year being in this offense. I think guys like Stephen Dunbar, Tim White, Poppy White, those guys have done a great job. Atkins continuing to get better. I think as a whole, this wideout group, it's been nice to watch to see us progress from, people were saying we're the worst team in the league, and then, we just kept getting better. So it was something that was nice to watch. Like I said, of course, I would have liked to be out there the first 7 weeks and help the team, but it's been nice to watch.
That is receiver Bralon Addison as he spoke after practice today. His first practice back since coming off the 6-game injured list, looking to make his season debut October 2nd when the Ticats host the Montreal Alouettes. That is a 4 p.m. kickoff, by the way, which means Andy Fantuz and I will be on the air with Tiger Cats pregame presented by Active Green and Ross starting at 3 o'clock. And then it'll be RJ Broadhead and Mike Moriali who will have the call on that game. We mentioned Bralon Addison. Let's just get some instant analysis here. I'm very pleased now to be joined by the Senior Director of Player Personnel and Co-Manager of Football Operations for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That is Shawn Burke. And Burkey, it's obviously great news to see that you have a player like Bralon Addison coming off the 6-game injured list here.
Yeah, we've had to be patient. Unfortunately, Bralon came in with a bit of an injury, and we had to do a procedure on that. And then as he was getting close to ending his 6th game, he got an illness that pushed him back a bit. But now he's back at 100%. And practicing this week and hopefully readily available in the lineup. We'll see how the week goes. You never know until you get through the week. But, I think you've seen what Bralon can do in Coach Condell's offense, all the different things he does for us. And just getting that type of player on the field is always a pick-me-up for everyone. He's an all-star in this league, and I know he's itching to go. It's been a while since he played a game of football, and he's just been excited since day one of coming back at Tiger Cat to get here. And it was probably a bit of a different road to get to his first game of 2021 than he would have drawn it up, and we would have. But he's going to give us a huge help to stretch run down the field.
And just on that point, here we are at the halfway point of the season. You're 7 games into a 14-game regular season. You've had some time to breathe after a really tough stretch of games in a short amount of time. Coach doesn't like to use the word satisfied. He said he's happy with where the team's at the halfway point. I just want to get your thoughts on where the team's at right now and your optimism heading into the second half of the season.
You could get me and Orlando on here and put our voices and faces and different things. We'd probably say the same thing, and it's not only because we're in unison, it's because we believe in the same thing. So, I think our team's finding its identity, working hard day by day. We don't end watch. We just try to get better each day, and I think we're seeing improvements. And then, obviously when you look at some of the bodies that we expect to get back and getting some consistency of lineups out on the field on game days, but also practice days. There's some guys that are coming back right now that haven't had a lot of practices yet. So just them getting better day by day and getting to work side by side with their teammates is going to help. But I think our staff's done an excellent job. Coach O puts together a fantastic staff and leads from the top of the vision of getting better day by day. So players are buying in. You can see that camaraderie and unity in our team, and just expect a big second half. And to mention, you got this background in the video right now. We got a lot of home games, and we don't take that lightly. Protecting the logo is a big part of our organizational belief, and the fan size is increasing into the capacity and everything. Is looking forward to a Saturday game at Tim Hortons Field as we take on a division rival.
Berkey, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it as always. That is the Senior Director of Player Personnel and Co-Manager of Football Operations, Shawn Burke. Just kind of getting his reaction at the halfway point here of the season. And the exciting news that Bralon Addison looking like he is set to return from injury, a dangerous weapon. So we'll keep our eye on him throughout the week. As mentioned, we'll get the official injury report today at 5 o'clock. We'll run that down here on tomorrow's edition of Ticats Today. All right, very pleased now to be joined by my friend from the CFL.ca, and as well, he's got a brand new show on TSN 1050 in Toronto. It's called Gameplay. I don't know if that's a play on words from Game Day, but Matt Cauz, of course, longtime host at TSN Radio in Toronto. Very pleased now to be joined with him. And Matt, I know you were definitely one of the people writing the Ticats off after their 0-2 start. So I'm not sure if you're ready to apologize just yet, or what you have to say for yourself.
No, I wasn't. I was not one of those people. And listen, I love a good knee-jerk reaction. The concern was a legit one. Offensive line was, losing Riker Matthews, no Van Zale, just the inconsistency on offense, which is still going to be there until quarterbacks are healthy. But Hamilton's got a great defense. They've got Orlando Steinauer. I think did I hear are they getting healthier at receiver now as well? What was the news there?
Bralon Addison came off the 6-game injured list back in practice today.
Right, so I got Addison and Ackland, and then when Brandon Banks eventually, when he's 100%, there's a lot of weapons there. So it was an unimpressive start for a team that the last time we saw them went 15-3.
Yeah, Devere Posey working his way back, and hopefully we'll get an update on Jeremiah Masoli at some point this week as well. Because this seems like it's a real test now for Hamilton, right? I mean, the stretch of games they just played, it was kind of nice to finish with. It feels weird saying it, but last place Calgary, last place Ottawa. Now you got the Alouettes, who are the highest scoring offense in the league. You want to tout yourself as one of the best defense in the league. This seems like, for the first time in a few weeks, a measuring stick game for the Ticats.
Yeah, it is. And the weird thing is what are you going to get from Vernon Adams Jr.? We've seen a bunch of games where he's throwing less than 50%. He's completing less than 50% of his passes. And then last week against Toronto, he forced a couple interceptions. They racked up all the yardage, but all the penalties. But you're right. This is going to be a great test for Hamilton's defense. That win against Calgary, a remarkable win that I still have no idea how they did it. We all lost money on that cold Friday night. We all lost. Hey, look, that guy's never kicked a field goal before. He's going to kick 5, sure. But this is going to be a very different test. I'm still a believer in Vernon Adams Jr., so it's going to be fun to see him against that defense. But Hamilton shut down Bo Levi Mitchell. Just the amount of passes they were able to knock away, the pressure they put on him. I haven't seen Bo Levi Mitchell look that uncomfortable in ages, and maybe it's partially injury, but it's also Hamilton. Their front seven, they got at it. And then by the way, on the other side, the offensive line did a better job after Calgary, sacked Trevor Harris 7 or 8 times a week before that. But no, this is going to be a fun game in a time now where, Toronto, I feel like those 3 teams are all still fairly close. I don't really look at one as really jumping out ahead of the others.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, it seems like everybody's playing for that first place spot as they should, that buy into the East final. But I mean, let's not undercut how important second and third is, especially for a Ticats team that's hosting the Grey Cup. You know, obviously they want to get that East final, but at the very least, a playoff game here and a win on Saturday would go a long way towards kind of creating some space between first and that third place, which is what I think the Ticats kind of priority is right now.
Yeah. No, it's almost like the same way with the Blue Jays in the American League East. Just all the juggling going on. But I mean, say this about Hamilton. I think I don't know how it feels there, but feels to me that health is more important than standings. If you're a little bit more conservative with players, and if it means a loss, but it means come playoff time you're fully healthy. A fully healthy Hamilton team could rip through anyone in the East.
And I mean, to that point, you have to sell that. And I think we should give credit to, Orlando Steinauer and the organization that's built, and the veterans, especially the veterans. I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, you guys are going to win 16-5 or, right? These really ridiculously low scoring games. Like, guys want to pad their stats. Guys want to play, especially in an era where guys play 1-year deals. It does take a lot to buy into that kind of idea that, hey, it might not be pretty, might not be flashy, but as long as we have more points more points than the other team by the end of the game, that's all that matters.
And the other thing that you can sell is one thing we know about general managers and owners in all sports is that if you do well in the playoffs, if you do well in the Grey Cup, that will inflate your value. Like if you're worried about your regular season stats, I understand it, as you said, a good point by you, but it's 1-year deals. But if you go on a run in the playoffs, that's going to stand out more. I mean, we still remember DeVar Posey, the 100-yarder on the left sideline when Toronto beat Calgary in the Grey Cup, or maybe only Toronto fans remember that. But those memories always stick out.
Well, we mentioned Bralon Addison, DeVar Posey. Also, he was placed on the 6-game to the 1-game injured list last week. So, again, another guy we'll be watching this week. Matt, before we let you go, just want to look at big picture at where we are kind of at the halfway point of the season. Here we are, week 8 in a 17-week schedule or whatever it ends up being, 16-week schedule. What have you taken away from kind of the league as a whole? Have you been able to kind of pinpoint what the 2021 season is so far?
The first thing that sticks out for me is the Calgary Stampeders have forsaken me. For years and years, I could just say, who do you think is going to win? It's Calgary? Give me Calgary. I can't do that anymore. 1 week they look great. The other week they look bad. Is Bo Levi Mitchell fully healthy? And then someone's like, oh, it's now time for the Jack Mayer era upon us. That's the first thing. The other is, I don't panic when people talk about, the league is down because of bad quarterback play. And I always remind people, there was a year where Solomon Eliminian won the MOP because the other quarterbacks were either young or injured or in their final year. And it's sort of the cyclical nature of it. And the thing is, people can point to the NFL, but the advantage the NFL has is it has 32 teams. If there's a bunch of quarterbacks that are bad, you could just go somewhere else. Oh, no, look at these guys. Because I look at the NFL, the rookies are all doing horrible. Roethlisberger's bad. Russell Wilson is up and down. Like, you can go find stars, and none of them are performing. But it's like, oh, wait, these 6 teams are doing well. But when you have a 9-team league, it stands out a little bit more. And it certainly will for the Edmonton-Ottawa game. I never worry about it because it is sort of the cyclical nature of it. And this is just going to be one of those years. But there was no season last year.
Yeah.
There was no preseason. There was less training camp. I don't worry about it. I focus more, like, I know the aesthetic isn't as good, but the drama is still there. So I'm fully satiated with what I'm getting from the CFL.
It's a lot harder to call guys up, who played maybe 6 months ago as opposed to guys who played 18, 19 months ago. So I think in any other season, like you said, maybe Ottawa, there is like a Kevin Glenn hanging around or one of those experienced players you can bring in. But obviously 2021, a different story. Matt, I always appreciate catching up with you. Congratulations on the new show. It's called Gameplay. on TSN 1050 in Toronto from 1 until 4 p.m. So I hear good things. I try and stay away from the ponies and all that kind of stuff. And
you should. Oh, let me just say thank you. The year where now I'm doing gameplay, which is basically like my old show, but with more fantasy and sports betting angle into it. I'm having my worst year picking CFL games. And I decided that Calgary-Hamilton game, money line, baby. Yeah, Hamilton. Calgary's good. Bo Levi's never lost to Hamilton. I'm done with betting on the CFL for at least a week or two.
Okay, sounds good. Matt, always appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
Take care.
That is my conversation with Matt Cauz from CFL.ca and a brand new show on TSN 1050 in Toronto. It is called Gameplay. It runs from 1 until 4 p.m., so go check that out. But that'll do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you have a great rest of your Tuesday. We are back again tomorrow right here on the Ticats Audio Network. Same time, same place. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode of this show or any of the other great offerings we have on the Ticats Audio Network, including a brand new episode of the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker that dropped today. So go check that out. Thanks for joining us here today. As mentioned, we'll talk to you tomorrow. This has been Ticats Today for the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louie B. Hoping you have a great day.